live and in green. My dog is making some noise in the background. He's about to be put out. Don't mind him. I'm live and in green. I didn't load the ROM though. I just opened up Destiny. So I gotta load the ROM. That's my bad. That's my bad. Alright. Posting things on. They're not videos. There we go. Okay. So now I can do this. Put my keyboard up. I'm going to Twitter. Never calling it that again. Don't worry. No, though it's Twitter, not Twitter. Okay. Hold on. Tweet. My phone quit working? Okay, it's working again. Still in green, okay. Go ahead and open up my browser on my phone and go to Twitch so that I can watch it. It doesn't let me watch from the Twitch app. Unless I can watch other people from the Twitch app, but I can't watch my own stream from the Twitch app. So if I want to watch the stream, I have to open it up on a tab for my phone, and it's not loading. There we go. Now it's loading. So if I want to watch the stream, I have to open it up. Yes, I open up on my phone. Thank you, Pass RG. It's not loading anymore. Hello, phone. Please work. Thank you. Alright, now we are ready to continue. Hello, Twitch and Tink, and my browser source is working again. There we go. I honestly forgot to fix it, but it fixed itself. So, I'm not going to touch it. I continue from chapter start. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Hells yeah! Don't worry about it. It's my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals! Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Oh, Detective Gumshoe. What is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around all dumb enough you call me here. Okay. Oof. For a second there, I thought I didn't save, because he'd said something like that before, so I was really worried for a second there. Here, she asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edwards were just talking about this the other day. I'm sure you know the two rules of evidence law, don't you, right? Rule 1, no evidence shall be discerned. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really? The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. Well, maybe. Is she hiding something in the book? It doesn't say if she hid anything in the book. Okay. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in the prosecutor's seat, despite all the allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth! The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all but ruined for this forged evidence you are unaware of. Emma Skye found out she's unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal! You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. The trial will now reconvene for the... He's probably going to admit he did it and keeps dreaming about it. Oh, you mean Edgeworth? No, he didn't do this one. Or are you talking about, Gant? Because Gant, I'm pretty sure Gant did it. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls for us a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that Mr. Edgeworth may have struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witness? Gant probably did for sure. Yeah, for sure. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking. Very well, Your Honor, I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's never been a case example. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue this trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize that this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. Bring out the real murderer. Do I just send in Damon Gant? What happens if I don't? What happens if I send out Dick Gumshoe? Hello, friend coming from the tribe, showing some support as I play Fortnite. Lurk mode activated. Thank you so much for the lurk and the support, Trippin' Mushies. Alright, Damon Gant. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does this have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all this. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Oh, Gant, I don't like you. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When innocent Neil flying, it seems Dark pumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning this award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and what made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up that power outage didn't help out either. How did you mess up? So the two of you immediately ran after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went through his heart, though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. So he was stuck in the elevator. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stopped the prosecutor? Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with this forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. Removing a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd better be staring at the court record. Worthy, always a smooth talker. Which piece of evidence has Gant to forgery? Lana did everything, but it can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the internet. Okay, so I'm going to save the state because I'm a little chicken baby, and I'm afraid I'm going to get an exclamation point taken away from me. I'm going to present this strip of cloth. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? What's that? And what's that? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Rido, don't you know the second rule of evidence law? Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case and trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Oh, well, okay. I'll only do it because this one, but only because you asked, Dudgy. Thank you. I assure you the defense is chappy. Sorry. Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Objection! You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. I'm afraid that claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's a little battery you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, there are articles of evidence uncovered in your office. Are both concrete proof that you played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. I beat him twice. I don't rival him, I destroy him. So you admit it then that you are involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? Objection. However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the terrible presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office in relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. It wasn't him that put it in the safe, it was Lana. I'm calling it already. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? Oh, I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? We're investigating the crime scene. You should have been more careful to observe protocol. Do you understand that you do understand that I am Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy. In return, though, I know, that place, right? Huh, what are these guys, telepathic? I'd appreciate if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in my day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped. Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyways, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when your fingerprints are found. Yes, if they're found and find my safe, and they would prove your investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyways, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence that found that the crime isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Mr. Wright. Depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Joe Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed on the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so as long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on now, Mr. Wright. Think about it. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was MS Guy. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there's a very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would be, of course, the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Yeah. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself, you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Udgy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for you, you better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho 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 ho! That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he help somebody else? Oh, no. So, help someone else. I'm gonna save the state. I'm gonna save the state in case I'm wrong. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist them. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend on hand. That's not what I mean. Very well, I'll ask. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped? may help forge evidence. Hello, Sierra! It's either Lana Skye or Bruce Goodman. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in the light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? As for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help if Lana if he asked him to. The reason is, of course, self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as a puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding? Never! Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Right, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, just keep quiet to protect anyone. There's no way to testify against me yet. Afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless, that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial, almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in the law enforcement agency. You accuse the Chief Police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edwards said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the Chief, a high-ranking officer, is involved in the murder. Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright. Show us the evidence that ties Chief Gant to this. Remember, it better be good. The screwdriver? Not really, he's a cop, it's not that impossible. Truth! There's some pretty bad cops out there. I want to save the state because I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. But it's either the tape or this glove. Well, Chief, as long as Mr. Wright is tossing out the things regardless of their evidence, mind if I toss in something too? That shoe should do nicely. I'll chuck it right at you. Always work on the joke around you. Whoops, looks like I got it wrong. No, oops, me. Or next time I'll throw my shoe at you. But try to think back on what happened in the evidence. Nothing mentioned. So that proves Gant into the room. Oh, right! Oh, not only is he a cop, but he's a leader of the cops. So clearly, hello, Enduring Elf. ID card record. That's the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list that couldn't determine the order of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in the Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean. Hope you're having a swell night. I'm having an amazing night, Enduring Elf. How are you doing? 7 digits, you don't mean. I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I would demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, the court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm the chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go into the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. Objection. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief can't. I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine that Lana Sky is killed. No, it isn't, Your Honor. The trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Kent met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. So let's prove that Chief Kent. Is it this trophy? I'm gonna save the steak because I'm a little chicken baby. No, there's gotta be something more solid than this. On that day, Detective Goodman was waiting. Okay, so it wasn't the trophy. It wasn't the trophy. I don't want to lose any exclamation points. I'm doing this perfectly. I don't know. Can I just click everything and see what works? Oh, truth. Could it be this screwdriver? Oh, there's gotta be something more solid on that day. Okay, so it wasn't the screwdriver. It was, why don't you come at me tomorrow? Perhaps we could write up your letter of termination. Regardless, you did see Detective Goodman that day. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to show you evidence. Okay, you need evidence. How about the evidence that is the SL9 incident files? Okay, it wasn't that. Is it this knife? No, it's not a knife. I get it. You want me fired, Gant. But you're gonna get fired because of this. I don't know. Because of this. I don't know. I'm just gonna click everything and see what works. So it wasn't a prosecution's trophy. Where did he get the item report from? To be submitted to the chief. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more precise, more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in the possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once, but you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Chief Grant, you didn't! The murder was most likely committed out of the spur of the moment. Not in the right mind. No one in the right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why else to dispose of Detective Goodman's body? However, the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. So how did he manage to get it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. Never was aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office until after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, you think I could just order an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this dead body over to the prosecutor's office. Oh, I don't think so. Chief Kent, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I just thought it was a useless clue taking up space. I know exactly what it is. How would the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us the evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Kent used this! Where is it? The screwdriver. Save state, because I'm a little chicken baby. Take that! This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver. What does that have to do with the case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go by Chief Kent, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it at the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back to the prosecutor's office. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Kent asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried into the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes, of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to carry evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body of your accomplice to Miss Lana Skye. Order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to this photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. That was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Kent, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Ryo, but I'm having lunch with the district attorney after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. Objection! But the cross-examination isn't over yet. Remember what I told you earlier? As police chief, the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? If you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, you think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof to get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gann is the current chief of police. The court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, you have inconclusive proof that Detective Goodman murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Lana Skye. Do I have any concrete proof? I think so, but I may be wrong. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence. And please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Grant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. This switchblade knife! Take that! So, or what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the Chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge. Well, I am the judge. Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? What I think, Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess that wasn't enough. Say it again, Mr. Wright. Okay, so... Your Honor, at present I have no conclusive evidence. CIG? In that case, of course. I don't gamble. Okay, IG, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an unfortunate thing. Whoa! Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the truth behind this trial. We haven't had the honor of hearing her testimony. Chief can't refuse the truth. There's someone else. There's one. We're going to answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the attorneys today. Mr. Wright, what's such a weirdness? You may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task was to dispose of the victim's body in accordance with someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is in read. Hold on, Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claim, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyways, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I've got a lunch date to meet! Okay, if there aren't any further objections, the score is now in recess. So wait, what? Was there something else I could have pinned on him? I don't think there was. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pal? Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief can't start it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Okay, honestly, I will take Gumshoe over Maya. I will take Gumshoe over Maya every day of the week. I actually like Gumshoe. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that's not our right to be casually involved. There are certain risks. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also is true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know what's funny? I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I know what finally happened. Gum should be popping for sure. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. She did it all to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Kent's orders, she must have shot herself deep inside. Forced herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Kent may not be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Save and continue, because my goodness, this case is getting good. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you're the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye, and remember, you are under oath. You are here to tell the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Am I sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana! This is true, then that means Jake Kent has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to stop her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. This is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Scott were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous courses. She must be good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me in jail such yesterday. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife, and fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? The Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. What she did was justifiable self-defense. She would have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana! So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. She's looking good for almost 30, though. She is! I don't want to say anything because, cartoon characters, and that's kind of weird. But she is. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? Seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? The prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. It's the only situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor, a little distance away. Probably knocked away by the struggle. The snot went down, she's trying to cover up with more alive. All just to protect me. When you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife and planted it inside the wound and moved the body. You planted the tip and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Question! Question! Okay, that would actually explain a little bit. I'm going to save the state, though, just in case I'm wrong. Why did you do that? Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, this is the witness's testimony. The reason Mr. Scott fabricated the knife. You don't like Phoenix? How do you not like Phoenix Wright? It was when you introduced it. It was where you introduced it by Chief Gant's desk. But the body you found was by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain it in more detail. The reason Miss Scribe moved the body. This is the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. But we're literally him! Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar Mr. Wright showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime. He's such a spaz. I don't think he's a spaz. I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already, of course, had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would have been clear right away what happened. No, Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there's more to that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene? Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide the fact you're willing to risk the destinies? She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened! In any case, as a prosecutor, I've done what I've done is I read it with my eyes, but not my mouth and brain. I didn't read it with my brain, I just read it with my eyes. In any case, as prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying! Looks like she's determined to protect you till the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone! Gotta get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Why didn't you do that? Come on out, Miss Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife. I knew the tip of the weapon would be found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken weapon was broken knife was a murder weapon, right? Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. I felt it was the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body. So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound. Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did. I think I save the state here. Objection! Darn it, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. Your Honor, what do you think about the witness's statement? No, I'm not sure. It's contradicting on my thought. Right. No, that wasn't right either. You can tell because the music didn't stop. No, that wasn't right either. What is it? No, it wasn't right either. I don't know. This is tough. It is. It's tough entering hell. Okay, I think what it is that I'm at the wrong one and I need to switch it back. This jar? Objection, Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been useless. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction with your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, the pieces of the jar that shattered during the events that my plan. That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's simple, an oversight, really. You see, the message with this jar was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so, and this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message in the jar, it must not have been broken before he died. He could not have written his name on a shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this message, this precious message. My eyes will read and my brain will not. My eyes will read and my brain will not. There would appear more in regard to this jar and its bloody message. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. Witness may now continue our testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were so large that I'm sure I got them all. All I can think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away this message in blood? I wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense man began its cross-examination. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. It was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them into dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you'd do it for me? It seems you two might make up. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon your scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours revealed what really happened. What do you mean? You really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall? You wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Rana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to gather up anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were so large, I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It must have been pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry my bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never missed anything. I just got every last piece. All I can think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes, I don't have any excuses for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. Still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident, no doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She really must care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one possibility that might turn everything around. What is that possibility? You should tell me, because I sure as heck don't know. I think I may know, actually. Because you didn't do a very good job at wiping away the blood. So I'm going to say a little objection. Miss Skye, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you are unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, this jaw was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jaw. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant at the time he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, if he was there first, why would he break the jaw? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he have that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. Question, what is this action called? Fabrication. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And here is the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem like the type to just truth. Wait a minute. What if we're smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Mr. Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emmett's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well, I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Did she not actually kill Marshall? When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on a suit of armored sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it was really a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armored sword. You were the only one that saw that. If only we had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I investigated it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember seeing a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. It's in this thing. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh my! This is the actual crime scene! No other detective saw the crime scene like this. That's because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I rearranged the crime scene. Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest! Could that be? The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe. What's this? It's a handprint. That cloth that had fingerprints on it. These are fingerprints. Those must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints? They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Hold it! Come now, LG. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Grant. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined testimony. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk the judge was talking about. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence would do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. You mean you have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone. So then what's your excuse, Brido? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You'd have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is that true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, am I sure to be made out the murderer? Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, please do that now. If you steal anything, you'll be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiry. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't make part of me to represent that piece of evidence. The one who... I think so. Yes, Your Honor, I do have further evidence. Alright, it's finally time to come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be those chiefs. No, let's say the conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. That's a piece of leather clothing. Yes, it was most likely cut from the victim's vest and his chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim under the sword. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Wright has checked, haven't you? Well, whose are they? They're Miss Sky's. Miss Emma Sky's. What? They're mine? So I really did do it. See? I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But, give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Sky to Neil Marshall's death. No, it appears we have our killer. No. No! Everything hinged on that point, and me and Lana was found guilty. Oh, so I shouldn't have. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. She can't. You opened my safe. I know what you took was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know who those fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this photo. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like it's been cut off for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the Chief of Police, concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day, and it occurred to me that I could use this situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay on with her sister, then then when she saw the scene, she would come and ask me for aid. She assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife up the victim's body and move the victim across the room. Then I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dart convicted. When we rearranged the crime scene, I had 2 pieces of evidence. I did this before Lana arrived at the scene. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those 2 items in your safe are... But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean by calculating that far ahead while you're forging evidence? Who do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by jumping luck. This jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go away and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Oh, some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Wright, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Mr. Wright. Mr. Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off from the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to, that being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being betrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence to present. Foolish move, Wright. You should have shot it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up, your victory is mine. I clicked on cannot show evidence, but nothing happened. I'm sure it's just because I was saving the state at the same time. But I'm going to take that as a sign. I'm going to take that as a sign. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright, then let's see this conclusive evidence. Evidence that shows who actually murdered Director Marshall. Let me verify this one more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut the piece of the victim's vest? Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out to the open. It's a hamper, pieces of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requested that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. The hamper on his leather must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. What do you mean? It cannot have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Oh, you're slow as the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Wright had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. What would that be? Oh, you mean you know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. Person who's... Emma Skye! What? You're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Oh, you're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true, tragically true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall into his death. How could you? You monster! Miss Skye. You know whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you have to let you really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Huh! I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defense is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy! What's the matter, cat? Out your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's one little thing I'd have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really cleared Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you're absolutely right. The piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was a Miss Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, the piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. Really? Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What possibly could be the contradiction? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. This is the handprint, right? Yeah, that's one. Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna save the state because I'm a little chicken baby. I'm a little chicken baby. This rubber glove. Oh, it's fun watching you squirm, Rhino. This piece of evidence indeed seems to contradict something. Like your outward appearance of mental insanity. What am I doing? There's something not right about it. It's too late to turn back now. You're the only one who can put it into this right. Chief Gant, your tyrant. Hold the piece. What is it then? Is it the actual piece of cloth itself? This picture. And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing on this. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked in blood. That's only natural. His lungs were no doubt punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth over that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. Yeah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. And so then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor and impaled him on the arm of the sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, a certain person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. Then he broke the jar on purpose to leave behind a clue and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out the bloodless piece of this victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? So through the very last act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finished. Objection! That was close, Wright. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean, refute his allegations? You see that piece of cloth? It's illegal evidence! Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Udgy? Earlier, old Wright here concealed that piece of cloth. So then what's your excuse, Wright? You have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, the piece of cloth ceased to be illegal evidence. That's not fair. Do you actually think you can best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed legal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you perfectly and legally conceal those piece of cloth? I did. No, if I admit that, all my planning would have been he's right about it. He's right. Certainly I refuse to prove at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant, huh? It's not that I didn't present it then, it's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved in presenting evidence. No, Udgy, don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward! You can't let him! There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let's settle this once and for all. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you prove your conduct was not a violation of law, do it. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law! What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in the book, the second rule of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case and trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at that time, it was impossible for me to prove its relevance, proving the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but as you can recall, when was this picture presented? That was shown only a few minutes ago. No! He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, the piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut off this piece of the victim's vest. Oh, yes! No! It was you that approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there is only one person that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime isn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he had to speak out. Grant thinks he's the main character, but he's not. No, he's not. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He told me to open up the evidence room and take it out. It's too late. It's not too late. I'll hand this to Marshall. He's the main character of being a loser. Ha! Got him! Well, to be honest, I was a little panicked too. I had a bad feeling about it, but I never thought it would come to this when I saw it. The accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. You would only increase the amount of blood. You couldn't finish what you started. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I was wiping it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my mistake. Detective Gumshoe's bloody handprint. I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. He tries too hard to be a supervillain, but he's just super pathetic and a little creepy. I don't think he tries too hard to be a supervillain. I think he tries too hard to be funny in himself. But he is pathetic and a little creepy. Like, he's always asking people about swimming and stuff. I don't think it was his plan to become the supervillain. It was his plan to become, like, in charge of everything. Like a mob boss. But not a supervillain, because he was still working on the side of good. If that makes any sense at all. I'm sorry, we just couldn't think of any other way to move the body. We broke the trunk, but what's the big deal? Yes, and he's really orange. You pulled down a lot more than us detectives. What does that have to do with anything? You're horrible. How could you get Miss Sky involved in all this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. Ew, he's a terrible mob boss. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I feel bad for having to do it. I couldn't sit around and pick what to choose. Well, you left a jar fragment and gloves. Yeah, looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, what are you going to do in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me were the same. One day you'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, gee. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, David Kent. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine now that you have Righto here and Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. You see, if I listen carefully, I can hear it right now. The sound of a new beginning. The two things I want to understand. Yes. First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Scott, you are no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence until today. So, it seems that all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Skye. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might just take it to the new top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Skye, and to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing, liar. I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Skye. Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is that you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing to you about all this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I've felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, the court finds the defendant, Miss Mona Skye. That is all. The court is adjourned. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty? To top it off, you call me here. I've seen happy people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. It was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis! I asked Dad to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. Because I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself. But I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me! No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. And hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis! I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course! You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back, and now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma! No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our path. And once we find our path, we can move on from our past mistakes toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt looking at those two sisters making up. Slow clap. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe, me! Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth! Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth! Right, well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't change my own mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth! Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. One day you'll understand. If you want to make them learn, you have to figure what's it. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crimes alone, one needs a weapon. It's scary. But I've been thinking the same thing for quite some time now. Was Edward just beating his meat in the bush behind him or something? I don't think there's a bush behind them. So maybe it was just out in the open. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor Manfred von Karma were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both have made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. That may be right, but think back to today's trial. That's not behind them, that's in front of Phoenix. Next to the couch, my dude? Yes, I know, but it's in front of Phoenix, so it wasn't behind him. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. Because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah, what is this about, Chris? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence that neither Edward nor I would have been able to find on our own. It's behind everyone he's talking to? Yeah, but it's not behind Phoenix himself. I don't know. I want to save the state because I've never known on these last ones. Like, never not known on this last one. That's the picture I drew! Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't happen just by chance. Okay. Okay, fine. You got me there. Defense attorney. We'll stop. That didn't just happen by chance, Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth! If you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, what happened in this trial can either make or break you as a prosecutor. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be getting back too. Okay, I'll come visit you. Seems we both still have a lot to learn. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis, I will! And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal! Huh, what is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved with the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But, I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it might be okay with me, but the folks in prison are a different story. Huh? Occasionally, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who will be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I gotta support it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Since we're all here, why don't we all go together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys, let's go. Objection. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. She's a coroner. I think Emma will be pleased. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Yikes! I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily. I did it. I did it. Possibly. I mean, I thought I did it at the last chapter, too. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm gonna be a detective. Yes, sir. They acted me just like that dick gumshoe. I'm sorry for everybody that he has to hear Meek in this voice. It's annoying to me, and I'm not even the one listening to it. It broke. What did he call my boo, Gumshoe? What is it? Can't you see I'm having a showdown with the steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this one into me. She's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? He called him Dick, because that's his name, Dick Gumshoe. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Right Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Mr. Left! Anyway, he's been doing something for how many years? Well, anyway. I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Mr. left. Ah, nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing Nick and his objections. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Maya, afternoon's training is about to begin. Phoenix F has a small pee-pee. Coming! Well, see you around, Nick. I mean, no one can know that but himself, man. And there's nothing wrong with having a small pee-pee. Even if Phoenix does have one. Same with Edgeworth. That one I believe. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on? Oh? Maya, go away. Thought we were done with Maya for this chapter? You were wrong. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Aww. Is that the end of the game? I think that's the end of the game. That is, it's the end of the game! Which means tomorrow we'll be jumping back into Golden Sun with Golden Sun Lost Age. It reminds me of Maya too much. I want them on a train crash. This is my favorite Lost show, though. After I'm done with Lost Age, I'll be returning to the next Phoenix Light game. But this way people can watch the previous one on my second channel, RG the Streamer, to get caught up. I gotta upload those videos, so I think I've only uploaded the first one. I'm done with the game now, so I gotta work on that. It will be returning whatever the second game is. After I'm done with Golden Sun: The Lost Age, or maybe in the middle of Golden Sun: The Lost Age if I get bored of Golden Sun: The Lost Age. We never know, because I was supposed to do Advance Wars after Golden Sun, but I got bored of that. So, you never know. You never know. But, with that, guys, I'm going to look for somebody to raid, because I don't have anything else prepared. And, I'm just not ready for another stream yet, so, like another part of the stream, and there'll only be like a half hour anyways. So I'm just going to end the stream off here once I figure out who it is that I want to raid. Are you still live? Yes, you are. He's live with Elden Ring. Forever Alone guy. So I'm going to go ahead and raid him. Oh, I didn't click into OBS when I typed that entire thing, so I have to retype it all. Just sing song boy. What should I sing? I'll sing something right at the end. What should I sing? I'm waiting. Do you have something for the song boy to sing? I'm not gonna sing "Baby" by Justin Bieber. I don't even know the words to that song. I have to look it up. I don't want to look it up. Maybe I'll look into doing a karaoke stream in the future, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and raid Forever Alone Guy. Alright, well, with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. You guys stay awesome. I know I will, and I'll see you next time.